In any case, the Broncos did beat the Chiefs by a score of 24-20. So the Broncos' record is now 8-3. The Chiefs are 7-4, and the Chiefs have lost twice head-to-head against Denver. And Denver's remaining schedule, as a team that finished 5th last year, is much softer than Kansas City's remaining schedule. Kansas City has only one home game left. So this was really a crusher for KC on their home field at Arrowhead, losing 24-20. There you see the Chiefs' remaining schedule. The last two road games are very tough. It's always tough to play at Seattle, as they will on December 1st. They have only the Chargers on their home field. And once again, a look at what Denver has remaining. 3 of their last 5 are on the road, but with the exception of the Seattle game, none of them appear to be as challenging in terms of opposition as what Kansas City faces. So Denver wins it 24-20. Washington wins at Pittsburgh 41-14. The Redskins are now 11-0, and Pittsburgh falls to 4-7. We have some highlights from that game. Charles Mann not suiting up, knee injury, and they were able to win it easily without him. Mark Rippon picking up where he left off last week. Remember, he threw 6 touchdown passes against Atlanta. Here he goes to Art Monk for 63 yards. Didn't get into the end zone, but Gerald Riggs capped it off a short time later by going across from the 1. The first of Riggs' 2 touchdowns for the day, and the route was on, 7-0. In the second quarter, Monk does get his touchdown. Backing up, acrobatic grab at the very end of the end zone, and that made it 17-0. The Steelers came back with a couple of Neil O'Donnell touchdown passes in the fourth quarter, but then Gary Clark latched on to this one from Rippon. They go on to win it in a walk, 41-14. How good are these Redskins?
Well, I think what Joe Gibbs has done at this time of year, I think it took him a little while to get it going. He has defined the role for every offensive player on his team. I think every guy, every week now, knows what role he's going to play. Biner, when he's in there, he's doing certain things. Irvin comes in, he's doing certain things. Riggs is kind of a short yardage guy now. His receivers' roles are defined. He's got his offense in complete sync, and they're tough, I'll tell you.
Yeah, you know what amazes me about them is that I still have this image of them being the Hogs and a running team for some reason. But every week, when we're looking at highlights, I see Ricky Sanders or Monk catching these bombs. You know, they're throwing the ball, they're airing it out.
Do players as a group care about history as much as fans do, as much as we in the media do? Will pressure build if they're 14-0, 15-0?
Well, I think what will happen to the Redskins is already happening. Everywhere they go, every guy out on the street, what do you think you can go undefeated? I know it happened to us last year. I'm sure it was happening in San Francisco. You know, the press is talking about it. Your family's talking about it. Everybody's talking about it. So, yeah, the pressure builds that way. I don't think the veteran team, the Redskins, will let it get to them. I mean, they got enough guys that have been around Millen, Monk, those guys. They've been there forever. Jacoby, Grimm. They're not going to let it bother them. They just need to win the division and get the best shape for the playoffs. That's what they'll try to do.
Obviously, I can't comment on this because we never won the first game in my whole pro career.
We've
never won the first
Buffalo,
game,
huh?
so I never know what that feels like. Yeah.
All right, for those of you who watched Denver defeat Kansas City, this is so long. We'll see you next Sunday. For those of you who watched the Jets and the Patriots, we're back to talk with New York quarterback Ken O'Brien and show you some more scores and highlights. Ken O'Brien, he completed 26 of 40 for 291 yards and 3 touchdowns. Did not have one intercepted, and Ken has been good enough after the victory to stick around for a while in Foxborough to talk with us. Ken, Bob Costas in New York with Bill Parcells and O.J. Simpson. I guess you can finally breathe a sigh of relief, but this wasn't easy.
I tell you what, it's been the course of the season so far for us. We've gotten ahead and we've kind of dragged a little bit. We let the teams get a jump back on us, and I think Bruce Costas has been living off some words that Coach Parcells had told him about. We just got to worry about the Jets and get the job done. And today was one of those things where we could have let it slip away, but we came through at the end. It went down the final second, and everybody contributed. So it's great to win it.
Ken, do you accept the analysis that the Jets at this point are an improved team? Certainly, you're 6-5. You seem to play with emotion most of the time, but you play up or down to the level of your competition, up for the Bills and Bears and down for some of the lesser teams.
Well, you know, I don't know how really to answer that. I think we're a pretty good team, and we seem to make a lot of mistakes at very inopportune times, whether it's being young or whatever. There's no excuse for it. We have to get a little bit better, and if we want to play with the big boys, we got to execute that way each week. You can say what you want about New England. They have a tremendous defense. Everyone knows their defense has been playing well. They have a lot of great players over there, and we got the job done when we had to, but certainly it should have been a lot easier.
You've got Al Toon and Rob Moore healthy now and on the field effectively at the same time. That makes a great difference to you, right?
Oh, I think the offensive line is the key. If they can give us the time, you know, Al's going to be, he's gotten open year after year, and I think his presence has only helped Rob develop. Rob learned a lot last year as a rookie, learned how tough it was to get through the 16-game season, and hopefully if you're lucky enough to play a little bit more. But I got two great guys out there. If I can just throw the ball anywhere in the vicinity, they come down with it.
Ken, big numbers today. Congratulations, and thanks for being with us.
Thanks very much.
Okay. Well, what do you think? That's an open-ended question. You can take that anywhere you like.
I still, as I said, I've been on the record. I say it every week. I think this is a playoff team. I think with the schedule that they have, the Jets still have a good chance of making it to the playoffs. I got to give New England credit. I think McPherson's done a great job up there. They could have easily won a couple of games. We look at that schedule. They will play the Buffalo Bills tough. No matter what the records are, the Jets will play the Bills tough. Detroit should be interesting. And as far as I can see there, they could win those other three games.
Well, you know, those three road games are going to be tough for them, especially if Miami has something at stake on December 22nd.
My best guess, it comes down to the Miami game, Bob, down in Miami. The Jets beat them very handily up here. I know I did that game. And I think Miami will have a score to settle down there. But it looks like right now that that's what it's going to come down to. Those are the teams that are involved.
Well, I'm willing to bet either one of you a dinner that Miami will have nothing at stake when it comes down to that game.
You'll bet a stake that they have nothing at stake?
Dinner that they have nothing at stake.
All right. We'll take a break here, and then we'll come back and check the rest of the scores, show you some of the highlights, and wrap things up in just a minute. Indy was pesky. They had a lead for a while. They hung close for most of the game, but the Bears go to 9-2. Indy to 1-10, still without Eric Dickerson, 31-17. Minnesota wins at Green Bay, 35-21. Rich Gannon, 3 touchdown passes and a touchdown run. In the game you folks saw, once again, the Jets 28 and the Patriots 21. Philadelphia goes to 6-5. They've won 3 in a row. They began to salvage their season when at 3-5 they had to win that Monday night showdown with the Giants. They did it. The next week they were down 23-0 against Cleveland. McMahon rallied them to win. And today, although the Bengals hung in the game all the way, the Eagles prevail 17-10. How about this? Tampa Bay got the last touchdown of the game. So from that point, they outscored the Falcons 7-0. Prior to that, however, they had dug just a bit too deep a hole. They had spotted the Falcons a 43-0 lead, and they couldn't quite overcome it. Now, in games still in progress, Seattle and the Raiders at the Coliseum in L.A. leads this one 10-0 in the second quarter. The Giants have a 6-0 lead over the Cowboys, this one also in the second quarter at New Orleans.
52-degree day at Giants.